What's up, people? Hotep Jesus. We back.
Hotep Jesus dude.
We live. Okay, hold on. Wait, that is not a Hotep. That was from our show last night. Patreon.com/Hotep told you for our secret show. Welcome, people. We have a wonderful presentation lined up for you today. Beautiful young lady I have with me today is, you guys should be familiar with her. I've had her on this channel before. Miss Shemeka Michelle. Shemeka, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Tired. Very, very tired. I think I'm running on about maybe 4 hours of sleep right now.
Oh no, that means you've been working hard.
Yes. Always working. I'm working on a new book, and we're working on the red carpet Grifties experience next year and sponsor meetings, and so. But anyway, today's presentation, we're talking about Mr. Biden. But before we get into that, you made a hilarious video that I have to share before we even get started today. Everybody, I need y'all to watch this video. I was crying. Like, you literally, I don't want to expose your secrets or anything like that. But if you was reading off a script, I couldn't tell. It looked well rehearsed. I don't know how many takes. Just tell me you did it in one take. Don't even spoil it and tell me you did it in multiple takes. You did it in one take. It came out perfect. So I'm gonna go ahead, put this on the screen right now, and we're gonna play this, and you guys just watch this. This is just freaking hilarious. Hold on one second. Let me bring this up on the screen. Oh, we got it.
Hey America, I'm Karen Whitefield, and I'm here to talk about Joe Rogan. Some people would want me to say racist Joe Rogan, because that's the story they're trying to push. But as many of you know, my papa was a member of the KKK. And since then, out of my white guilt, I've become a friend of the blacks. I think it's important that I speak out on their behalf, especially since my daddy said they can't string 5 words together to make a sentence because they speak something called Ebonics. Anyway, I was in the break room yesterday and I heard my colleagues say this whole Joe Rogan thing has nothing to do with racism. Said that Joe Rogan is hurting Big Pharma's bottom line. Also said that if he keeps putting out alternative information that the blacks might hear it and have second thoughts. And those are the ones they want to kill first. So they said in order to silence Joe Rogan, they need to get the blacks on board. Said they're always talking about racist systems, but they get so emotional they can never do anything about it. Said all you gotta do is throw racism out there and they'll eat it right up. I guess kind of like they eat chicken. They get all the meat and then suck the marrow out the bones like a bunch of wild animals. I'm saying, have you ever been to one of their barbecues that they call the cookout? Looks like hyenas went through KFC. Anyway, they said if you get the blacks real emotional, you can control them like a bunch of puppets. A bunch of black sock puppets. Anyway, I just want the blacks to know that they're being used and abused. This isn't about racism. This is about taking down Big Pharma. They don't want you to do it. So I just want to help y'all niggers. Oops. I hope I said that in the right context. Anyway, I'm Karen Whitefield, and I just want to make America a better place.
Oh my Lord. Yo, so I need to know, how'd you even come up with this character? What was the motivation for this? Is this the first time you've done this character?
No, I've done it once before. I did it back in 2020 once before. And I don't know, it's just how my brain works. I have no explanation for it.
You got talent, girl. You got talent. You an actress or something?
No, I'm not.
Who?
Can do it. I think it's fun to do. I like doing different characters, but I don't put effort in it to keep it going all the time. So yeah, it's been a while since I did her the first time.
We need a collaboration between you and Uncle Hotep. He has a character. He plays a slave called Tobias. We're gonna need to
Oh,
collaborate.
that would be fun.
Yeah, we definitely need a collaboration. Maybe we'll do something live at the Grifties Red Carpet Experience next year. Look out for tickets
Oh,
coming
yeah.
soon for the Grifties next year, y'all. That's gonna be super amazing. So Shemeka, you made that video in response to the Rogan fiasco happening right now in the mainstream media. But while people are worried about Rogan, Biden is distributing crack pipes. Don't you think one is more paramount to be discussed than another?
Oh, definitely. But nobody cares about that. No one is going to hop on Twitter and spend all day talking about how wrong this is. At first glance, I was thinking this is absolute. First, I thought it was a joke, to be honest.
Me too.
I was this has to be a joke. It's not real. But once I went to DuckDuckGo, I'm like, this is real. And seeing all the stories about it and the people that are responding, like Mark Rubio, and I'm like, oh, this is really real. It's crazy.
Mark Rubio made a comment.
Yeah, he said he thought it was silly and that it was going to harm minority communities. So I saw that in the story. And even that North Carolina, where I'm from, they actually have programs that support the same efforts, which I did not know.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna dissect this thing. We're gonna dive into this whole situation. But you know who I think needs crack pipes most?
Who is that?
Hunter Biden.
For sure.
Hunter Biden, that's who the crack pipes need to be for. Jay Pylon, thank you. He said crack pipes over commerce. Where's the tangibles, Joe? Indeed, indeed. So let's run through what the black community has gotten. The black community, I shouldn't say the black community, the black voting bloc. And the influencers that influenced the voting bloc made it a paramount decision to vote against Trump, to vote for Biden. And as we audit Biden's contributions to the black community through his administration, tell me if I'm missing anything here, but it looks like we got voting rights, something that we already had. Empty gesture for a black woman to become SCOTUS, and now crack pipes. Does that cover everything?
I think that covers everything. Don't forget the Chucks and Pearls, the celebration that the women had, when Kamala was chosen for VP. That's all I saw all over social media. Chucks and Pearls, Chucks and Pearls. So I guess that was enough.
Papa Hotep says shortage of food on the shelves, but an abundance of crack with pipes are readily available for consumption. Shine should feel liberated and definitely got their votes worth. Bro, like literally, like what's going on here? So let's talk about voting rights, and then we'll talk about SCOTUS, and then we'll go into the crack pipes. So, did you see anything effective coming from the voting rights? Because it seems to me like this was just some sort of attempt to potentially, I don't want to say manipulate, but to play around with elections, right?
Right.
I don't know. Am I on the right path here, or what are your thoughts on that?
So I've been trying to get somebody to give me a clear answer on what rights we did not have as Black people. I can't get anybody to give me a straight answer. I think because there isn't one. It's foolishness. When I'm seeing the arguments about, oh, they aren't going to let people distribute water in the lines. Well, you can bring your water from home. I don't understand why we're looking for peanut butter and jelly sandwiches when we're going out to vote. So the things that I've seen them complain about to me were foolishness. And I can't get a real answer, but we keep saying the same thing. Oh, they're trying to take us back to the Jim Crow era. Oh, they're trying to take us back, and take away our right to vote. How? No one can tell me how. I've even heard my family say, oh, they look what they're trying to do, take us back to the old days. Okay, explain it. And I haven't gotten a real answer. So to me, it is just manipulation. It's a tactic that they always use, which is to pull on the heartstrings of Black America and think we're being wronged and we're being oppressed and that somebody's after us. And it works each and every time because we have so many people that fall for that.
What are your thoughts on the Rogan situation? Are you Are you canceling Joe Rogan? Do you think he should be canceled? Where do you sit on this topic?
I don't think he should be canceled. And no, I'm not canceling him. I really think the issue is they were upset because of the two high profile podcasts that he got with Dr. McCullough and Dr. Malone. And when they could not find a guest who was willing to actually debate those doctors and come with alternative information, they had to go to, oh, he's a racist, because the initial issue was covert misinformation. Well, if it's covert misinformation, then bring on the right information that you claim is what's true, what's real, and what's right. When they wouldn't do that, they had to then get Black people on board by playing the whole racist card. And that's why I put in that video, like, they don't want Black people to hear it because we're the ones they want to kill first. So, I just think that it's BS, everything that's going on around Rogan. And I didn't have an issue with him at all.
Yeah. I defended him. I got called all types of sellout and coon and whatnot. So I just went ahead and just, before that I had muted the thread because it started going viral. Liz BC, thank you. Appreciate you very much. Yeah, so the empty gestures and SCOTUS, it seemed like Biden wanted to, or he sent the gesture, right? It looks like the Democrats are gesturing that they want to have a Black woman sit in a SCOTUS seat. To me, it looks like this is their attempt to basically just get another Democrat in there, another liberal in there, so they can start to take over SCOTUS. Because I think, if they had their way with SCOTUS, then we'd probably have mandates. We can look at the way that they voted previously, and if it wasn't for the Republican majority or the conservative majority in SCOTUS, I mean, workers across the nation probably would have been mandated. Currently, because of the SCOTUS decision, anybody who works for the government pretty much has to get the jabby.
Right.
When you saw the gesture about the Black female SCOTUS, what was your take on it?
Well, for one, I do want to say, I don't think that just because it was a Black woman that it necessarily means she wouldn't be qualified. But I do think that they threw that out there because it was a bone, and that's how they're going to keep us hanging on. Because if you were just going for the person that best fit the job, just do it. But they put that out there so that people could be paying attention, so that they could, gain the support, that everybody could be talking about it. Oh, worship, more work, Biden worship. Oh, he's going to put a Black person in, Black woman. Yeah. It was just to get more Biden worship for someone who definitely does not deserve it. When they talk about somebody not liking Black people, it's his record that shows that he really not feeling us the way people think that he is.
Absolutely. Talk about this all the time. Janice Rogers Brown was up to be a circuit court judge in Washington, D.C. And what happened? Obama, Schumer, Feinstein, Clinton, Biden, all voted against her. In fact, everybody who voted against her, everybody who voted nay was a Democrat. There's only one Democrat who I believe voted yay, there was one that voted yay. So I guess they were a conservative Democrat. And thank God for people like that, because if it wasn't for them, it seems to me like Democrats want to play this whole black card thing. Black card. But really what they're saying is black people in alignment with our agenda, right?
Mm-hmm. That we can control.
Not Shemeka Michelle.
Right.
Not Hotep Jesus.
Right.
Not Jason Whitlock.
Mm-hmm.
Not Uncle Hotep. A very specific type of black person. Do you find that to be nefarious? And what effects do you think that has on the black community? And what do you think is the underlying agenda here? Because you mentioned control.
Yeah, I definitely think it's just simply about control. I think the Democrat Party wants to be in charge. And if they had their way, there would be no opposition to them at all, ever. And I think what they're trying to do is when they toss these little bones out, they want Black people to continue looking at them through rose colored glasses. When you do this and you just give us crumbs and you give somebody crumbs, they don't pay attention that, oh, I'm missing the entire meal. I'm just getting crumbs and I'm satisfied with that. I'm going to shut up. I'm not going to say anything. It's almost like how we do a baby when the baby is crying, but we think, oh, it's that you just ate. So you toss the pacifier in the mouth just to give the baby that sucking sensation so the baby can shut up. That's what we do to Black people all the time. They just toss a pacifier in the mouths of Blacks so that they can just have that sensation to shut up. Then there's no real work getting done. There's no real changes being made, but when they start to cry again, another pacifier. That's it.
It seems like we get a whole lot of nothing, right? It seems like we get emotional things like we mentioned, like, oh yeah, we'll put a Black woman here, Black woman there. And then now it's like crack pipe, right? Like
right.
Now obviously I was a bit hyperbolic when I said these crack pipes for the Black community, because obviously it's not just for the Black community. This is going to be for the greater community at large. However, black people are going to be affected by this. Laughing Dog said, Brandon disgusts me, just so y'all know. Let's go, Brandon. But yeah, so when I think about like the whole crack pipe situation, right, is several issues here, and we'll break them down one by one. But I don't think for let's take this example. I just thought of this example. The NOI, right? NOI rehabilitated people in the Black community out of a life of crime, out of a life of drugs, right? Successfully. Now, was there some people who went back? Absolutely. But they successfully rehabilitated many people, right? I believe like Bumpy Johnson's daughter was rehabilitated or something like that. Malcolm X was rehabilitated, and so many more. And then made these people into productive people in society. Don't you think it makes sense that instead of supporting somebody's habit, build programs that would allow the individual to not have this habit?
Exactly. And I can just look at my own personal life. So my uncle was addicted to crack cocaine and he was murdered. He also had HIV. So when they say they want to make it safer so they have cleaner needles, I get that. However, his death was not as a result of the HIV. His death was because he was addicted to crack, and he was murdered sitting in a car, strapped in his seatbelt from someone he thought was a friend who shot him in the head over crack. So I think you're only, pushing this type of behavior by now saying, oh, let us make sure you have all the crack pipes that you need so that you don't have to share That's silly. You're still not providing any type of rehabilitation or any road or avenue for them to come out of that lifestyle. So to me, you're saying, yeah, kill yourself, and we're going to help you do it by making sure you have all the paraphernalia that you need to kill yourself in a cleanly manner. Right.
And they like to, disguise it as, oh, we want to make it safer. It's like, it's crack. How can you make crack safer?
Right. And as I told you before, I don't know any responsible crackheads that are, they're telling them, and I was reading what North Carolina pushes. They also say that it can, you can get thirsty or dehydrated. So make sure you drink plenty of water and take your vitamins. Hey, if you're smoking crack, I kind of highly doubt that you care about vitamin intake. That's just me. No, but it just doesn't seem like you are really doing what's necessary to keep your body healthy if you are also smoking crack.
Yeah, that makes absolutely no sense. Let me pull up this article on the screen and let's read this article to see exactly what the media is saying this thing is all about. All right, so this article here appears on republicbroadcasting.org. The title says $30 million program will provide smoking kits to vulnerable communities. So they give you the smoking kits. It's like, yeah, Look at him. There's a guy right there. May or may not be Hunter Biden. Smoking something, right? And it says here the Biden administration is set to fund a distribution of crack pipes to drug addicts as part of its plan to advance racial equity. What?
Right.
Wait, what? I didn't even read that first sentence before I got on here. It's the first time I read it. Hold on. I have to pull up another article. There's no way this is real. No, I refuse to believe this. The $30 million grant will distribute funds to nonprofits and local governments to make drug use safer and advance racial. It appears in 2 different spots, Shemeka. I just pulled it up on Daily Mail. They're really pushing this as racial equity?
Yeah, and what's the logic behind it? That because we're Black, we can't get access to crack pipes as much? Is that the economic? We are behind, so they need to kind of even the playing field.
Included in the grant money is to purchase safe smoking, advance racial equity. Equity in what? Crack cocaine? We need more crack cocaine. White people just have too much crack cocaine. We got to make sure Black people got some equity in crack cocaine. How let me finish reading the articles. I don't know how they're going to spin this into racial equity. So I was right. This is about the Black community. It says the $30 million grant program, which closed applications Monday, and will begin in May, will provide funds to nonprofits and local governments to make drug use safer for addicts. Included in the grant, which is overseen by the Department of Health and Human Services, are funds for smoking kits and supplies. A spokesman for the agency told the Washington Free Beacon that these kits will provide pipes for users to smoke crack cocaine, crystal meth, and any illicit substance. HHS says the kits aim to reduce the risk of infection when smoking substances with glass pipes, which can lead to infections through cuts and sores. Applicants for the grants are prioritized if they treat a majority of underserved communities, including African Americans and LGBTQ persons, as established under Joe Biden's executive order on advancing racial equity. Now listen, Democrat-run cities such as San Francisco and Seattle. We're going to come back to that previous paragraph and highlight some things. Shout out to Def Jules. Thank you. He says Democratic-run cities such as San Francisco and Seattle have distributed smoking kits to residents. Some local governments, however, have in recent years backed away from their smoking kit program over concerns they enable drug use. Louisiana, Kentucky, for example, allowed convenience stores to sell smoking kits but later banned them. Legislators in Maryland ditched their distribution plan after facing backlash from local law enforcement and African American leaders. Got a couple more paragraphs here. Sergeant Clyde Boatwright, president of Maryland Fraternal Order of Police, said government resources are better spent on preventing drug use rather than making it safer. Then there's a quote from here, which I would agree with. If we look at more of a preventive campaign as opposed to an enabling campaign, I think it will offer opportunity for safer communities with fewer people who are dependable on these substances. Funding for the harm reduction grant program is provided through Democrats' American Rescue Plan, which the Senate passed along party lines after Vice President Kamala cast a tie-breaking vote. Other equipment that qualifies for funding includes syringes, vaccinations, disease screenings, rubbers, aka condoms, aka birth control, right? AKA eugenics, AKA population control, fentanyl strips. The grant program will last 3 years and include 25 awards up to $400,000. The HHS spokesman declined to specify what is included in the smoking kits. Similar distribution efforts provide mouthpieces to prevent glass cuts, rubber bands to prevent burns, and filters to minimize risk of disease. Now we have to break this thing down. I love how the last sentence of the article says President Biden's son Hunter's a longtime user of crack cocaine.
Right.
Pop-Up Hotep said, so the real economic wealth gap had to do with crack pipes. So is there a book by Thomas Sowell that we mixed? Oh, man. Okay, so. All right, so right here it says, applicants for the grants are prioritized if they treat a majority of underserved communities, including African Americans and LGBTQ plus persons, as established under President Biden's executive order on advancing racial equity.
So if you serve a lot of blacks and gays, we're going to give you the money first. We're going to make sure you have the money to get the crack pipes first.
That's exactly what they're saying. That's exactly what they're saying. And I'm going to show you something in a moment. So the next paragraph says Democratic-run cities such as San Francisco and Seattle have distributed smoking kits to residents, right? And then they talk about how Louisiana didn't want to comply and Maryland didn't want to comply. So I'm going to ask you this. Who do you think the funding is going to go to, Shemeka? Democratic-run cities or Republican-run cities?
It's going to go to those who are willing to be controlled and to be yes men and women. That's who's going to get the money. Oh, I wasn't trying to find, but I saw someone say that Republicans had tried to do this before, but I couldn't find any information on it. I didn't have a lot of time to look into that. Have you heard that?
I've never heard anything like that. I won't deny it because obviously I'm ignorant to the fact. So let's go down memory lane. Let's go to FDR, okay? And we have a journalist by the name of John T. Flint who reported many cases where relief and public works money was channeled not to the needy, but to political supporters. Economist John Joseph Wallace in 1984 provided further confirmation that more affluent states received the lion's share of New Deal money. So basically what's happening here is there's a potential for monies, and I believe this is under the FDR. This is the WPA money, and basically, I think what's happening here is this is a way for them to. I hate to use the word bribe, but they're greasing the palms of organizations,
right,
who are politically aligned with them.
Right, and can get them votes.
Bingo. Now, there's executive orders that says you're not allowed to do stuff like that, but it doesn't have to be intentional. It could be unintentional. I mean, if you slide a couple of dollars in my pocket and I happen to be aligned with you when it's time to go campaign, well, guess what? I might use the power behind my organization because first of all, the money is going to be used for marketing, et cetera, or whatever, and they're going to have a higher profile. And these people have Twitter accounts, and they're going to be spreading their rhetoric, et cetera, et cetera. So I think this is a way to kind of Ozark some money into the Democratic agenda.
Yeah, $30 million? Is that what they said?
Let me look again. 30 million.
Yeah, $30 million they are putting towards their black votes. That's what we got. We got $30 million, I guess they'll say. We gave the black community $30 million.
30 million big ones. Cuomo's Revenge said, what we want, reparations. When we want them, now. Oh my God. Y'all are terrible. Let's take another trip down memory lane before we go into our next point. Again, also during the FDR administration. So, obviously our taxes are going to go into this, right? But written here in this document, I'll tell you guys the source in just a moment. It says the money that banks and insurance companies were giving the government to buy its bonds probably would otherwise have been available in the private sector to buy corporate bonds or make loans. Indeed, in 1940, the Harvard Business Review published a report called Small Business Wants Capital about the difficulties small companies had borrowing money from banks during the New Deal era. Economist Lewis Kimmel conducted a survey which found that a high percentage of manufacturing companies were denied bank loans. government borrowing was apparently crowded out. Government borrowing was apparently crowding out private sector borrowing, making it more difficult for businesses to get money needed for recovery. Now, why did I bring that up? Well, I bring that up because $30 million is a lot of money. And there's a lot of black businesses in the black community who could use that $30 million, right? And what happens with small business? Well, small business gets to grow, and the more it grows, the more it hires people. So if you really wanted to help the black community out, you want to get Pookie off the street, Pookie needs a way out. He needs a way to support himself. There's a lot of dealers on the street who don't want to deal and would like to have a lucrative career, and you could invest in small business. A lot of this is like a school to prison pipeline as well. So this stuff could go into education and in very good programs, right? Making sure that these schools that majority black kids go to are well funded and they have all the necessary programs they need. However, not the liberal education type program. I truly believe in homeschooling. As you know, that's Hotep Nation's mission. However, $30 million is a lot of money that if they really wanted to create racial equity, okay, they could have said along the lines of what Nipsey Hussle's plan was, right? The marathon, invest in small business. If they would have invested in small business, they could have created jobs, and that in itself would make the community flourish and blossom. But Shemeka, for some reason, I don't think that's what the Democrats want.
Oh, it's not. That's why for the last 2 years, small businesses is what they have been trying to crush across the board, period. Because if you don't have the small businesses, then you have to, when they said, oh, these are non-essential. So I can't go to the mom and pop store for my vitamin D or vitamin C or whatever. I need to go to these big corporations or order it from Amazon, because that's okay. That's essential, but they've been trying to crush small businesses for a long time so that they can crush the middle class.
Exactly. 100,000 small businesses destroyed in the first 2 months of 2020 due to the pandemic. So I just want to give everybody a source. I promised you I would give you the source of what I was reading from. It's called FDR's Folly. A must read. It's called FDR's Folly, How Roosevelt and His New Deal Prolonged the Great Depression by Jim Powell. A great document. I think everybody should read and study, to understand how detrimental the New Deal is, right? And it seems like every time, again, right, FDR, Democrat, it seems like every time they create a program to help people, it ends up doing the exact opposite. I'm sure you could think of a bunch of examples. I don't know, welfare. What's another one?
That took mine. So
the one with the mothers, right? Welfare. WIC. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
WIC. All of these things, all these socialist programs, literally destroy the black community. Literally destroys pure communities. Period. Minimum wage destroys small business. And in turn is going to destroy the American dream.
Mm-hmm.
So when we talk about private interest, right? Obviously some of this 30 million, as you said, could have been invested back into the community, education. You know what I really think would have been dope is more certification programs, right? So for example, right. I had a friend reach out to me the other day, and he said to me, actually it was yesterday, he said, bro, I didn't know the certification game was so strong. I'm like, what you mean? He was like, yo, I just spent the last 6 months studying for a certification. I think it was project management. This is a guy who's been in the streets, you know what I'm saying, and rehabilitated, never had a drug addiction, but just rehabilitated as far as the street life is concerned. Has done well for himself over the past few years as a manager for a corporation. Doesn't have a college degree, and is on pace to make 180K. Like, with 2 contracts just by taking a project management cert course. So a lot of people want to have that pipeline to university. I'm like, yo, you could take 6 months in some of these courses and be making six figures.
That is true. That's why I think they should have left trades in the high schools. When I think about auto mechanics or they used to have brick mason in the school that I graduated from. Those things should have been left there. And I don't understand why they took them out. Here, they took them out and replaced them with eventually with the daycare. So the young girls could bring their kids to school with them and check on them during lunch and things like that. And I was so upset. And I was like, this is what you think we need instead of men learning how to lay bricks?
Right.
And be able to support themselves. So
I remember we had
spoke up then.
home economics. Do you remember home economics class?
Yes.
Do they got
Loved
that?
it.
Do they still have that?
I don't think so. I know my kids didn't take it, so I don't think so. I had to teach them how to cook and to sew and at home. So I don't think they do that anymore. We had home economics that we would take for 9 weeks, and then art, then gym, then we had shop class.
Right.
I still have the napkin holder that I made in the 7th grade.
Mm-hmm.
So
think about that term, home economics.
mm,
That sounds completely contrary to what a socialist would like to see happen.
right.
Dax Hill said, don't forget we'll tear down your neighborhoods and churches for a highway and build back better your neighborhoods. Oh, we ran out of money.
Yes, that happened here too.
What happened?
Well, because for one, we've been waiting for a road to be finished, and they closed off the ability for like people in a certain neighborhood to get to the downtown area much easier, which is now booming with business. Like they actually restored our downtown, but people in predominantly Black neighborhoods can't really get to them as quickly as they could have. They were supposed to be working on a road or something. I guess they ran out of money because it's been 6 months. It's been like 4 years or something.
The term home economics, like it sounds sound. Okay. It sounds like self-dependency, right? For example, I remember at home ec, we made pillows. We learned how to sew, right? That's very important for young women to learn. It's an art that has been, like, for example, when you talk to my grandma, right? Grandma tell you, like, we didn't go to department stores. We made our clothes.
Right. I was standing behind a woman at an event, and her hem was hanging. And so I went over to her and just, I was trying to tell her that her hem was hanging, and I lifted it up a little bit to show her. She had it pinned with safety pins. And I was thinking, my God, if they had taught this young girl how to sew, she could have fixed that before she even came out. Who in the world would try to put their hem together with safety pins when you could just pull out your little needle and thread? If you don't have a sewing machine, that's fine. You should be able to do a single stitch, a very simple one, to make sure your hem is in place. But they're not teaching that anymore. And apparently her mom might have forgot to show her.
And we also live in a high consumption society too, where we don't sew clothes back up. We just go buy some new ones.
Not me. I'm going to sew. I still have a suede skirt from high school, and I can still wear it. Oh, I hold on to my stuff.
That's home economics right there. But again, like I think about, what was it? Booker T. Washington. I believe he built the Tuskegee Institute or had something to do with it. But the way he taught education for the Black community was trade first, university after. Learn combustion engines, et cetera, right? You go down the line, aerospace, all of these different things, right? Learn a trade first, because honestly, that's going to be your fallback, right? Electrician, plumbing. Because if worse come to worse, you could throw an ad up in a paper or stand on the sidewalk, wait for somebody to come pick you up and do landscaping for the day or sheetrocking
Right.
for the day and make pretty
Barber, hairstylist.
Right. And these things are just necessities that really don't go out of business. So again, these are things that the $30 million could have gone to instead of going for crack pipes.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is, as far as private interest is concerned, is when we create programs like this, it disables the community's ability to heal itself. When a community is having problems, you have to give it time to heal itself and then nurture that healing. Instead, what this is doing is it's nurturing the disease.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of saying, hey, look, for example, these people have addictions. What about the amount of people who would want to pop up a nonprofit corporation, young women and men in the area who'd like to help the addicts get off of drugs? And they have programs to do that. That could be, mimic something like what the NOI has done to pull people off the street, right? Something similar.
Right.
Why not support that?
Right. Because to be honest, we haven't even recovered from the crack epidemic before in the 80s and 90s. We haven't really recovered from that. You still have children or products of that still dealing with having parents that were addicted to crack or having their father spend, 20, 30 years in prison. We haven't really recovered from that as a whole. So now you're going to to me, pour salt in the open wound still.
It's a repeat. It's a repeat of history. First they put crack in the neighborhoods, right? Then we vote for Biden and he like, all right, let's support that crack habit.
Right. Right.
How frustrating is it to know that we've warned people about what we were going to get from the Biden administration and then watch this administration do exactly what you thought they would and knowing people still won't listen? How frustrating is that for you? Or do you not even get frustrated? Do you just say, look, ha, stupid? How do you,
I think I can say ha, stupid until I go to the gas pump or I go, and have to pay more money for my crab legs because then I'm affected as well. So then I'm frustrated and I'm upset because I'm thinking, like, don't you all see what has happened? Can't you see how this is affecting us in our everyday life? Because people will always say, oh, the president doesn't matter. It's about local government, which it is about local government, but you can't say the president doesn't matter. Look at what we're going through right now because all of y'all rushed to the polls worried about whether Trump liked Black people or not, whether his tweets were mean or not, and you fell for the okie doke. And we are all suffering because of it. I don't make a whole lot of money. So when prices of groceries go up, I can feel that. When the cost of gas goes up, I can feel that. My energy bill, I can feel that. So I feel like people in their everyday lives can see the change. And so it is frustrating when people try to pretend or act like, they don't know what's going on. Or I've seen people say, I would do it all again. I think that's the frustrating part for me. When you say you would vote the exact same way, even after seeing what you've seen this last year, that's when I want to, give them a little smack.
That sounds like Stockholm syndrome to me.
Right. Because I don't see how you, see what's happening and think you would vote the same way.
To me, it sounds like they just don't want to admit when they're wrong.
Right.
That's how I would interpret that. Black Mount Hotep said, my father told me, son, always have a trade. They cannot take that from you. Best advice he gave. That's so true. My dad was an electrician, and I learned a lot about maintenance of buildings, etc. I'm looking at the Daily Mail article now. It's up on the screen. Applicants for the program get priority if they serve underserved communities such as African Americans or Native Americans or LGBT community. So it's like not only, are we handing out crack pipes, but we got to make sure the crack pipes get to the black people.
These are like the smallpox blankets. We think it's helping, They want us to think they're helping.
Exactly. Crack cocaine epidemic started in the 1980s, disproportionately ravaged the black community. Yeah, that's true, Daily Mail. It is absolutely true. What else is in this article? Overdoses, 100,000 drug overdose deaths in the 12-month period ending in April 2021, according to Dr. Charlie. Now, it says cities like San Francisco and Seattle have experimented with their own crack pipe kit distribution programs. I would like to know what those results are, right? Before we, that's the funny thing is, usually you test something out in a small control group as in an experiment. You put it in a test market, and then you measure the results, right? So San Francisco and Seattle, I couldn't say are cities to be exemplary for anything other than degeneracy.
Right, exactly. Because I'm thinking, I hear people talk about how trash San Francisco is all the time.
Right. And you see the debacle happening in Seattle, right? And the disheveledness happening in Seattle, not to mention the suicide rate out there due to the climate and other circumstances. So it says, meanwhile, the Department of Justice, DOJ, signaled Monday it may allow safe injection sites to open up across the U.S., safe havens for drug users to use heroin and narcotics, monitored by a health professional. The DOJ under Trump administration had prosecutors who fought aggressively against the plan to open safe consumption sites in Philadelphia. Do you back Trump as far as that's concerned? Saying we don't want safe consumption sites.
I don't, somebody would have to tell me the purpose of having a safe consumption site. I just don't know. The people that I've known that have been addicted to crack, I don't really know if they would be thinking, let me get to somewhere safe to shoot up.
Right.
I'm thinking these are the same people that will break into their family's house and take, somebody that they love, their TV, when they're going on these crack binges and stuff. My uncle would break into my grandmother's house and steal from my grandmother. So I just don't really understand how they feel like they're in such this rational state that they would say, let me just go drive over there, the legal crack house. I just don't that doesn't make sense to me from my life experiences and from what I've seen watching it up close in person.
Thinking like a drug dealer, it sounds to me like the perfect haven to cultivate snitches, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you say, if all the crackheads are going to hang out here, let's say they do make it there and all the crackheads are hanging out there, it's a good place to question them and say, where'd you get the crack from? Right. And then you can plant undercovers that could
That's
be
true.
That could be, pretended to be. So again, this is again Biden and his massive campaign to incarcerate black people, because there's going to be undercovers there and they could hang out at these facilities and talk to, crack dealers and crack addicts and find out who the crack dealers are. And then next we got more black people in jail.
Right. And what if you don't smoke it all? You decide, I'm going to keep a little bit in my pocket and take this with me to go. Well, it's going to be waiting for you around the corner to then pull you over because now you have an illegal substance on your person. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yep, it's opened up a door to a lot of abuse of power.
Mm-hmm.
Divided Court of Appeals ruled that safe injection sites would violate 19 errors. Drug law aimed at crack houses. Supreme Court in October declined to take up the case. About 6 weeks later, the first official authorized safe injection sites opened in New York City. Again, blue state. The two facilities, which the city calls overdose prevention centers, provide a monitored place for people to do drugs, basically. Yeah, this is wild, man. Is this a cruel joke? Drug overdose deaths are at the highest recorded levels. The Biden administration should focus on stopping traffickers instead of creating more demand for their products, said Senator Tom Cotton out of Arkansas. And he wrote this on Twitter. Money Hotep, thank you. So Biden has $30 million for crack pipes, yet he cut funding to HBCUs, but Trump is the racist. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, don't hurt him. Don't hurt him. Yeah, how real is that? How real is that? 30 million for crack pipes. Remember, people was asking for tangibles. There's a lot of people said, hey, we want reparations. I got some reparations for you. How about some crack pipes?
Yeah.
Oh my God. All right. So, before we get out of here, what I like to do, I like to run through the trending topics. Did you have any final thoughts on this subject matter before we go through the trending topics and get your thoughts on the trending topics?
I don't have any thoughts on this particular subject matter, except that I just think it's absolutely crazy. And I have not seen an argument that would make me think otherwise. I think it's foolish. I think it's his way of really just trapping Black people once again. And I think that, unfortunately, there are going to be a lot of Black people that walk right into it and, again, continue to think he's some sort of savior and end up looking real stupid.
You're right. Kings is trending. Sports. Blazers trending sports. menofwater.com. Make sure y'all get plugged in. Oscar noms. So there's Oscar nomination. Do you watch the Oscars?
No, not really.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to tune in either. I don't think I've tuned in a really long time, if I ever did. Anyway, on your screen
it's always so long, and it's not, like movies that I'm very familiar with. Like, then I think Set It Off got an Oscar. I mean,
on your screen right now, you'll see the Grifties Red Carpet Experience. So get ready. We're going to be selling tickets in the next few weeks. So if you guys want to come to the Grifties next year and enjoy our Red Carpet Experience, we are accepting sponsorship conversations now. I had one this morning and I had one last week with some great corporations and political organizations. So look out for that. Okay, let's go back to the trending topics here. Let me put them up on your screen, y'all. I'm so sorry. So yeah, sports news. We do that over at Men of Water. There's only one true award show, and that is the Grifties. For the people, by the people. Nelly is trending. What the hell is this?
Right, and why?
Oh boy. I guess Nelly accidentally posted a video on his Instagram story, and it looks like a woman giving him so sorry y'all. Oh my God. Woman giving him fellatio.
Oh.
So
let me see if she know what she's doing.
Lord Jesus. Oh, I gotta be careful when I click on these trending topics. See, Twitter is filthy, y'all, filthy. I don't know what this is. Agia out. Okay, some distraction. Brits, another award show. Gumby, the classic green clay figure has been acquired by Fox. So I guess they're bringing Gumby back. Remember Gumby?
Mm-hmm.
It's like they're bringing Gumby back.
Okay, he'll probably be gay.
Oh Lord, have mercy. Oh man. Oh Lord, they're gonna bend Gumby over. Nintendo Direct, distraction. Dear Brian, I don't know what this Dear Brian subject is. What is this? So apparently this dude said, "Dear ladies, There's no reason whatsoever for you to post pictures of yourself in low-cut shirts, bikinis, bra, and underwear, or anything similar ever. Not to show your weight loss journey, not to show your newborn baby, not to document your birth story. Sincerely, your brothers. I guess he has a problem with women showing their skin. I don't know. Must be an extreme conservative.
Mm-hmm.
Robert Pattinson is on the cover of GQ Distraction. Do you think Kanye West Baby should be allowed on TikTok?
So I'm not on TikTok, so I don't know much about it.
What about social media in general?
I'm trying to think back to when my kids got on social media. I think my child probably was around that age on Facebook, maybe. Because I think you had to be 13, and I think she lied to start an account. So I'm thinking she probably was kind of young. I think it depends on I don't think the child necessarily has to. If you keep your child occupied and in different activities outside of school, extracurricular activities, they don't have time to be on social media like that. And I think you run the risk of that child then finding their self-esteem in social media. I see it happen so much that they don't get the likes or the interaction that they feel like they should, then it has an effect on their self-worth and self-esteem. So I think because of who Kim Kardashian is, I don't know if she can actually monitor her child's interaction on social media the way that she should. I don't think that she would, if you're using nannies and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm worried about with Kanye is I feel like he needs some better people around him, because the message that she sent was textbook, I'm getting ready to take your kids. And I think that the way he's going about it is not necessarily the smartest way. I think that a lot of times we know that Black men are railroaded when it comes to the court system and custody issues. And I don't think he is any different. Just because he has a lot of money, I think he needs to be very careful on what he's doing and how he's going about this whole process. Because when I read her response to him, it was textbook. You are not stable. You are not safe for the kids to be around. You make me feel uncomfortable. You're constantly, doing these things to me. It was so textbook. And I just hope Kanye doesn't let his ego get him to supervise visitation, because that's what it's looking like to me. I can't hear you. Are you talking?
Global dope trade. Dallas, right. Thank you. Global dope trade equals trillions. Everybody eats B. Yeah, I muted myself. My bad. Thank you for reminding me. So on the screen right now, somebody made this graphic. I will be posting this on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram, Hotep Jesus _2. It says here, the crack plan. Joe Biden's plan for Black Americas. Build crack better.
Mm-hmm. Right. And I'll be sharing it.
What is going on? Oh, this is great. Oh, this is great. Hashtag build crack better. This is just crazy. I can't.
It's unbelievable. And people are going to justify it so that they can justify their vote. Like you said, saying, I made a mistake, I was wrong.
Right.
Yeah. Somehow they'll spin it. It'll be Trump's fault. Well, Trump actually, he is the one that came up with the idea. They just decided to go ahead and put it in place. It's going to be something.
Right. Right. It's funny. Looking at the trending topics today, right? And I keep up with investing news. So I saw yesterday, or the day before maybe, It says here Peloton's trending. It says Peloton is an acquisition target. Who might buy it? Says the LA Times. So there's a potential purchase on the table. All right. So it says there's email seeking comment about Amazon, Nike, and Apple potentially being buyers for this thing. But what's funny is, I'm gonna tell you what's really funny. They are trending right now because they fired over 2,800 employees and then giving them a free 1-year subscription on the way out.
Wow.
So for anybody not familiar with the financial world, what they do is to make the books look better for the acquisition, they clear out debt. They clear out some of the expenses and look at the salaries. Like, you can add up what 2,800 in salary is. It's probably, several $1 million, probably several tens of millions of dollars in those salaries. So really what happens is, to give you guys a quick education, they raise a lot of money, and the company might not even be in the green, right? The company will operate in the red. Like Amazon operated in the red forever. Twitter operated in the red forever. So what they do is they hire a bunch of people and they pump the valuation. They raise money, they pump the valuation. They hire way more employees than they actually need just to pump the company, get it out there, and just really, because, Peloton's like a household name now. And then once they kind of figure out, like, okay, here's what we actually need to run the company. Thank you for pumping this for us. Then they get rid of the excess employees. That's a common thing in startups.
I would need more than a little subscription, though.
Listen, that's wild. Oh yeah, sorry about that, but you get a free. I can't afford it. You just fired me. How am I gonna afford the Peloton? What is wrong with you? Bitfinex, U.S. arrests a couple for allegedly laundering $4.5 billion in crypto tied to Bitfinex hack. I gotta look into that. I haven't looked into it yet. Film director Douglas Trumbull has passed away. R.I.P. Who's this? Mike Dean. Sports news. menoforder.com. Doug Emhoff evacuated from high school over bomb threat. Damn, the fall flags. I'm sorry. The flags.
Right.
The flags are flying.
What do you think about those HBCU bomb threats?
It's time to get people to them voting booths. we relevant again. Right. Just like the other day they had that new police brutality story with that young kid. Midterms is coming, man. Got to get y'all out there voting.
And it's sad, though, the amount of people that are going to lose their lives in order to push a certain narrative this year specifically.
The midterm elections coming up, primaries, etc. Any thoughts on that? You working on that?
I expect to be doing some work with Walkaway eventually, now that the case is over pretty much.
Oh yeah, Brandon's free now, right?
Yeah, well, he's on house arrest for 3 months and then he's free.
Okay.
So I probably around May, I think the anniversary of Walkaway, we're going to relaunch. And so we'll get back out there right in time for midterms. What I think, though, is that we're going to see a lot of increased racial allegations.
Okay.
I think we're going to see a lot of it, like the usual election year BS that we see. But because they know that it works, they're going to continue to do it. And I think they've already gotten started and they're going to keep going. I think we're going to see some Black men be killed by the police, and it's actually all over the news. And I think they're going to give us more of what we received in 2020, trying to hold on to the Senate and, the House. I think we're going to see a lot of that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Shemeka Michelle. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Shemeka Michelle. I'm gonna pull her profile up one more time here, so you can visit her profile and get familiar with her. This is somebody who you absolutely need to be following. Entertaining follow, educational follow, great thoughts, great rhetoric, an ally, somebody who we need to highlight. Chris Campagna, tuition, thank you. And somebody that the fight needs. So make sure y'all go out and y'all support Shemeka Michelle, follow her and amplify her signal. Spanky the Panky said the moment folks try to use these illicit drugs in their home or car, suddenly they can be arrested for illegal possession. Exactly. It's ridiculous. Shemeka, hang out for a second while we turn the show off. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of I don't even know what this series is called, Breakdowns or something like that. But thank you for tuning in. Hotep and Bill, love y'all.